Welcome back to the channel, guys. If you're new around here, you're watching One Life Cars, the channel where I teach you how to fix your car. So welcome back, guys. In today's video you join me on the Ford Fiesta, as you can see here probably, and in today's video I'm going to teach you guys how to remove and replace the air filter. So first things first, we've got to get your bonnet open. I've sort of skipped a step here. For those of you who are unsure how to get your bonnet open, there's a little lever on the passenger side just in the footwell area, sort of to your left as you sit in, that you pull, that'll release the bonnet, and then you use that tab there to fully open it. So we're under the bonnet, and as you can see here we're looking at the engine. Now this is your air filter box, your air filter housing. This is where the air filter is, inside there. So to get this off, you're only going to need a couple of tools: a flat screwdriver and a 10mm socket to get the box off. So we've got two 10mm bolts here, and you're going to get a socket like so. I've already undone these so not waste time. Undo these two bolts with your 10mm socket like so. Next thing is this pipe here. This is sort of the air feed. This is where the air comes from the outside into your air box. Now it should have a little tab there, so you have to sort of twist it and pull it out, but of course, this being an old car, it's been messed with over the years, and it did just have two Phillips screws in, which I've already took out because they shouldn't be there anyway. But yeah, you should have a little tab, so you sort of twist it out and pull it like that. So that's that hose released. The next hose is on one of these awkward clips. That's where the flat screwdriver comes in. So you can get your flat screwdriver and pop this. You know what you can try as well, guys? Sometimes, yeah, they just pull off anyway, and then you don't even have to touch the clip. They're not that. I'd be surprised if it's that tight on your car. There's also a little vacuum hose down here. If you can see that there, that hose there. Slide that off. Probably wouldn't do it with a metal screwdriver in case you pierce the hose doing it. It should pull off fairly easily, like so. And now there's a couple of rubber bungs underneath that just sort of slot in. So it might feel really stiff, but you just sort of get a hand there and a hand on that side and sort of wiggle it out. Let's see if we can do it with one hand now. No, it'll need two hands. But I'll wiggle that out and then we'll look how to get to your actual air filter and change that. Right, guys, as you can see here, we've got the box off. Those were the two rubber bungs I was talking about. 1, 2, and they sort of go in these two holes back here, but they can be quite stiff, so just bear with it as you're pulling it out. So the box itself. So this is the air box upside down that we were just looking at, and as you can see, we've got bolts. Just get a bit better focus on the close-up. We've got bolts all the way around. Now these bolts are good because they're an 8 or a 6mm. I'll confirm that in a second. But they also have a little Torx bit inside, so it's a bit of a preference really. If you want to use a Torx bit, you can use the Torx bit and it'll go straight in the middle, or if you want to use the socket, you can use the socket. It's up to you. But the next step is to get all these undone. So as you can see here, I'm showing you both options. So we have an 8mm socket on the right. If that's what you've got, that's what you prefer to use, you can use an 8mm socket to take them all out. Or on the left, we have a Torx 25, it is a T25 Torx bit, which will also get them out using the middle. I'd recommend using the socket if you have the socket, but if not, either will do. So we're going to get all these bolts out. All the bolts you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Take all them off and then we'll be able to get to the air filter and we'll have a look at changing it. Right, guys, so I've got all the 9 8mm bolts out the back. I've flipped it back the right way around so I can show you. I'm going to pull the cover off. This bit all comes off as one piece. That'll go to one side, revealing sort of our full air box and the air filter itself. So literally I'm going to peel it out like that. As you can see, this has seen better days. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's certainly dirty and could do with replacing. So what I would recommend too is giving your airbox a good hoover out and tidying it up a bit before you put the new one back in. And you're going to get your new air filter. I'll show you this again for the sake of the video. And it's going to go in paper side down, so it's leaving this sort of rubber gasket around it up. After you've done that, you're happy everything's clean and all good, I'd say start the opposite way. So get your main panel and turn it back upside down. It's probably easier if you do this on the floor. I'm just doing it in the engine bay because it's easier to film it. No, ignore what I just said. Yeah. So for putting it back together, the best thing to do, stick it like that on a flat surface on the floor. I'm just doing this to show you, and then you can make sure all this side's clean as well. Make sure it lines up properly and plonk it back on. It's a lot easier with two hands when you've not got a camera in your hand, but you get the idea. Get that all back together and then lined up, and then you can just flip it upside down and put your screws back in. Obviously this isn't right, but it's really hard with one hand. There you go, that's roughly it. And then put your 9 screws back in. Make sure they're nice and tight, but don't overdo them. If you go mad on a big bar, it's just going to break the plastic that's going into. So nice and tight, but don't overdo it. And then after that, you can get your airbox, line it up. These two sort of plastic bungs, line them up with the holes on the back, hole 1 and hole 2. Pop them back on that first, and then it'll sit flat. So you can reconnect your vacuum hose back into this bit, your outlet hose back into that. If you have took the clip off, make sure you clip it back together or put a new Jubilee on it. To be honest, I'd put a new Jubilee on it. They only cost a few pence and they work better. And then this side just goes back in and twists shut. So I hope you get the idea. So that is how to remove and replace the air filter on the Ford Fiesta. Hope you found this useful, guys. If you did, please give it a like, maybe drop us a comment, and let me know if you want to see any other videos on this car or any of the other cars on my channel. So thanks for watching, and until next time, peace.